Welcome to the 700 Club Canada. I hope you're having an amazing day. And Lori, our question today is, will I ever feel whole?
Well, maybe not till heaven, Bill.
No, really, I've just learned that life actually is a process. I have this phrase that I use all the time, trust the process. And there's going to be a lot of ups and downs, but if you trust God in the process, He is working towards wholeness.
Yeah, that's
so
so
will I
true.
be whole? Yes, in heaven, but for now, I'm in process.
Yeah, that is so true. And you know, I think sometimes, whether it's our own wholeness, we're looking for relationships to be whole. And the family is, when the family's doing well, everything seems like it's doing well, right?
Absolutely.
We're going to talk about that today. The family is the foundation of every community, and healthy marriage is the cornerstone, would you agree, of a strong
100%.
family. Yeah, but sometimes the road can be tough. So today we're joined by the Directors of FamilyLife Canada, an organization committed to bringing help and hope to marriages and families. Well, welcome Neil and Sharol Josephson. Nice to have you with us today.
It's our pleasure. Thanks for having us.
Awesome to be here.
Well, Sharol, we hear a lot of negative talk about marriage in the culture, on media. Tell us, what is the impact on marriages because of this negative talk about marriage?
Oh, well, first of all, these are really interesting days. You're absolutely right. The interest in marriage has never gone away. And the expectations for marriage have never been higher, actually. One sociologist says that we have the expectations that marriage will fill what an entire village used to, the needs that an entire village used to meet, but we expect one person to fill all those roles. So expectations for marriage are really high. At the same time, the reputation of marriage has never been at a lower low. So it's kind of interesting. Everybody kind of has this idea out there in our culture that marriage is really hard, that only half the marriages end half the marriages end in divorce, so why would you bother? So there's kind of these negative cultural things floating about around in our culture. We were in Toronto a little while ago. We ran into a waiter in one of the restaurants, and inevitably when people ask us what we do and why we're there, we're there for a marriage conference. We do relationship coaching. Inevitably, that's the floodgates get released. And so she said, me and my boyfriend, we're living together. We're not going to get married because 70% of marriages end in divorce. And so why would you bother? And it was just symptomatic of sort of the negativity that's in our culture. So, well, she kind of messed with the wrong people. We're like, well, that's not true. Because actually, the flip is true. About 67% in Canada, 67% of first marriages are successful. So almost the exact reverse of what's out there. But you can see how this negative mindset contributes, because then if people run into problems early on, they're like, I guess we're in the 50 that doesn't make it, whatever. And it just kind of creates this negativity around marriage. And then the other piece that's kind of the narrative that's out there is that marriage is really hard work, tough slogging.
But when we teach on marriage, we really want to lift up how great marriage is. And the research bears it out. People that are married, get this, live longer, they make more money, they have more sex, they have better sex. But that's not the narrative, right? So
wherever the money part really hasn't worked out for us yet.
But so whenever we teach, we try to lift up marriage. I grew up in the church. I love it. I'm grateful for it. But I grew up in a church that spoke against divorce, not really in favor of marriage.
Right.
So to lift up this beautiful place to give and receive love and know God and understand grace, I mean, that's what marriage is.
Yeah. And those of us who do have good marriages, we need to be speaking out. We kind of hide our light under a bushel, I think. And so then all we do hear about is the marriages that are failing. And we forget to kind of elevate how beautiful it is and how wonderful it can be.
I love that. So good.
Well, and I think there is a lot of power in narratives. And I think, again, what I love about the good news, the gospel, it's a counter narrative to the negative narrative that we have in our culture. And so, Neil, you believe Canada is right now wide open for what you've coined relational apologetics. So what do you mean by that?
Yeah, thanks for that. I love to talk about this. When I was an early young Christ follower, I was consumed with what we would call propositional apologetics.
Right.
The arguments for the existence of God and the proof for the reliability of Scripture. And these things were super important to me intellectually and to my faith. Still are, actually. But what we've learned as we go deeper and deeper and longer into this marriage ministry world is a lot of people don't want to hear my soteriology and eschatology and which is a real drag for us seminary trained people, right, Velvet? But you know what? They're hungry to help their home.
Yes.
Can you help me with my kids?
Right.
Me and my wife aren't doing good. Me and my husband aren't doing good. Now they're leaning in. And I just think it's a wide open opportunity to meet them at a point of need.
Yeah.
And then through that, we introduce the gospel. Gary Thomas has this lovely phrase. He said, I can teach you the how to, but only God can give you the heart to. So we can open the dialogue about their marriage and their kids, and then take them to, you know what, you need a new heart.
Yeah.
And Jesus can do that for you.
So if you paint this beautiful picture of what marriage can be, then people pretty quickly come to the end of themselves.
Yeah,
It's sort of like,
yeah.
I think I might need some help to
Yep.
get there.
And we do.
And we do. I mean,
Mhm.
marriage is designed, we believe, to have God right in the middle of it. And that's how it works the best. And I think people will quickly come to that. But if we have all this negative stuff around marriage,
Right.
we're defeated before we
Yeah.
even start.
Right.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That is so helpful because I've even heard in the church the numbers quoted about, the state of marriage. And, you're huge fans, I love this, of marriage mentoring. And you believe that we could actually cut the divorce rate, whatever that is, in half if every couple had the opportunity to be mentored in their first 5 years of marriage. So just give us a quick glimpse before we go to break. What has Family Life Canada done in response to this? And then when we come back after break, we'll unpack it.
Sure. Well, we developed a marriage mentoring initiative that's pretty low, easily accessible, because some of them, there are good mentoring programs out there,
Sure.
but a lot of them are pretty taxing to get into. There's a long training period, they're expensive. And so we just decided we wanted to create something that was really easy access, really helpful to the mentors. And we've trained over 1,000 couples now in Canada, and it seems to be working really well. We're loving hearing the results across the country.